Welcome everyone to the second part of the first ever season of the Munich Wolverines. Currently we're 4-4 and on a 2-game losing streak with a really good defense, but the offense is just a few steps behind. And looking at the schedule, so far our strength has been the home games actually, and we have 5 more of these, but we're playing 2 division games and also against the undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are we able to use the second half of the season to secure a playoff spot in year 1? Let's get into it. It's also decision time for our upcoming free agents. I decided to offer new contracts to Julio Jones, who's currently our leading receiver. I know that this is debatable, 4 drops, only 3 touchdowns, but I like his average and I think he could be a good weapon, maybe for a new QB if we go into that direction, or at least be a role model with his work ethic. So let's hope that he signs a year for 11 million, would be more than his current contract, but I would still be fine with that. And I also made offers for our starting defensive tackle and edge rusher and backup. Currently, our D-line is not a strength, but losing those 3 players would make us even weaker. So we need to sign them and hopefully make them backups next year and get better in that direction. But we cannot guarantee that, so we need to keep them. Other than that, not interested in all those backups. But currently, Jacksonville Jaguars, it's such an important game. We need to win, and we're losing again. So now we are on a losing record again, 4-5. Desmond Ridder, another interception, rushing game. Looks really bad. And I'm not sure if this is the O-line. We will look into the stats after the season. But currently, as I said, I'm trusting our offensive and defensive coordinator to make the right plays. And Deshaun Hand signed. Julio Jones not ready to make an offer. Same for Lawson and same for Pennell, so there is still hope that we can sign them next week. But now let's get into the next game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're playing in Munich in reality. Now they are playing against the Munich Wolverines. Are we able to create the first loss for the Buccaneers? Are we able to get the win at home? No, we lose again and are now 4-6. And does that mean that the season is already over? Great first performance of Pollard, I would say. Also, Zach Ertz gets involved with a touchdown. And many defensive players played. And again, no hurries, only 1 sack. That's such a problem. It really is. And let's look into the standings. Do we still have a chance to make the playoffs with 4 games left? I mean, we need to win all of them. Otherwise, it's not looking good right now. Interesting to see that a 6-4 team is over a 7-5 team. But that's bye week confuses everything a little bit, but we could still have a chance. Let's quickly check out our remaining opponents. Not the best record, so Tennessee Titans currently the only ones with a winning record, and we need to win against them. It's a division game. We're on a 4-game losing streak, and we need to turn things around. So Lawson and Julio Jones signed, so the only one left to sign is Mike Pennell, still not ready to make a decision. But now against the Tennessee Titans, it's a must win. Another home game, so we should have a little bit advantage. The line is even and we win just barely. What a defensive game, only allowing 3 points and 1 touchdown by Desmond Ridder. Again, not the worst performances, to be honest. He had a stretch of really bad games in the beginning. And since then, his value got a little bit up. Not significantly, but yeah, could be something to work with. Not really good in the deep area, but also no interceptions. So most interceptions are area short middle. Hopefully our coordinators adjust for the final few games, and now 3 games left to play and hopefully 3 wins. Marcus Epps, our starting free safety, is out, but thankfully we have Nasir Adderley, Mike Pennell signed. Stephen Collins does not have work ethic at all. He's tired but should also not play a role here. So week 14, we're now playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers with a losing record. This is a must win, but the Steelers are actually favorites here, 4.5 points. They're playing at home. So far, our away games have not been the best ones. And it's the same story here. We just cannot win games in the US. I just mentioned Ridder positively. Now 3 interceptions. That, of course, does not help. Same story for the O-line. And now is our season over. 2 games left. 5-7. Yeah, this is it. I think no chance. Might be if we win both games, but I don't think so. Especially in our division. We are behind the Tennessee Titans. Just lost the game. And Jaguars and Colts are on top of this division. And let's be real, with 5 teams, it's not getting easier to get a division title. And we experienced that in year 1. So far, really great defense. Saints are a little bit favored here in Munich. Another home game. This has been our strength, and it stays that way. I don't know. I said it last time. If the game knows that we are play in Germany, and honestly, that would be something you would expect in reality, to have really dominant performance in your home country and maybe not so good performances in the US due to traveling. And also here the schedule actually makes sense with many away games and then many home games in a row. Desmond Ridder not happy with the workload. Is he now out for the game due to fatigue? He's probable. So I want you to get better, and he's now at a 75, so I'm not easing up training here. I want him to push hard in training. He needs to show that he is our QB for the future. Now week 16, the final game of the year, another home game. Can we at least get an even record? We are favorite and we lose against the Browns. So in the first season we go 6-8, and this is of course not a good case for Desmond Ridder here. We're losing this game, unfortunately, and let's look into the playoff standings. The Bucs go undefeated, actually. Buffalo Bills also really good here in the AFC. And yeah, in the end, it was not close. So even if we won the game, of course, it would be nice to be at 500. But 6-8, actually, there are a lot of 6-8 teams. On the positive note, we were just 2 games away from the playoffs. On the negative note, our team was projected to win the division, to get into the playoffs, and we're also just 2 wins away from being the worst team in the AFC. So currently we are in a weird spot. We of course need to get our team better and improve, especially on offense. Desmond Ridder, maybe not the answer. He's at 75 and yeah, 5 interceptions, area short middle is not good. Not sure if this is an issue of accuracy or intelligence. And the Texans' career, I noticed that a QB with really good intelligence and bad arm and bad accuracy is still able to win some playoff games. Check that out if you missed the Texans series. It was pretty cool. But now here for the Munich Wolverines, passing yards, we were able to get that, but not the points. Defensively, there's nothing we could have done better. Maybe a little bit better pass defense, but Louis Lewis, our defensive coordinator, great job here. Power ranking, we are at midfield of the NFL. And here again, 4-3 home record, 2-5 away record. So this is something to note, of course. I mean, you can see that most teams have a really good home record. Actually, I did not notice that in the 2022 games, so maybe home field advantage is a little bit more present here in this game. But yeah, could also just be the case that this was a coincidence. But yeah, looking at other teams, of course, it makes sense that the home record is better. And yeah, it was the same for us, but also added 3 losses at home. So this was not the main factor why we did not perform too well. Looking at the league leaders, Desmond Ridder actually comes in 5th in terms of total passing yards. So at least the stats look good in one direction. Josh Allen leads the league. And regarding passing touchdowns, the Black Tom Brady on top of the NFL, 34 touchdowns. We're also in the top 20. But yeah, also a lot of interceptions. Rushing yards, despite the bad average, Tony Pollard comes in 4th, over 1,000 rushing yards. So I guess the amount of attempts he had was really the key factor here. We're looking into stats in more detail. Rushing touchdown, Christian McCaffrey leads the league. No one for us, unfortunately, which explains the lack of points. Receiving yards, both Julio Jones and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the top 20. So again, the stats regarding yards look good. Regarding touchdown, at least Julio Jones is in the top 20. He also will be on the team next year, so might be a good building block. But yeah, we need improvements. We need more numbers and especially points on offense. And I think it's notable that our kicker is not in the top 20 here regarding points. We will look into that, but special teams might be a factor that lost us the games. Cole Holcomb here, pretty good in terms of tackles. And as expected, our D-line, horrible. No one here in terms of sacks. That's annoying, of course, and something we need to work and get better. Interception-wise, same. So we were able to create a good defense, but not the pressure and not the turnovers, unfortunately. Performance. Is that something new they added to the 2023 game? I'm not sure, maybe I missed it all the time until now, but really cool to see. And again, no one from our team. So if we sort the quarterbacks by passing yards, Desmond Ridder, his interceptions were actually not too bad, honestly. Percentage also, rather midfield, I would say. So this could have been improved. But yards per catch is up there with all the others. Touchdown percentage is a little bit lower, but also midfield, I would say. Interception percentage 2.4. there are a lot of players with higher percentages and sack percentage. Yeah, I mean, he's also not in here. So our O-line was pretty good. QB rating, of course, yeah, could be improved. But in the end, Desmond Ridder was maybe not that bad. So he might be serviceable for a second year. Of course, we will look into free agency. We will look into the draft. But Desmond Ridder, the stats are more positive than I thought they would be. So there could be some promise here. So here for the yards, I mean, 1 touchdown only for Tony Pollard. This is, of course, a strategic issue. I don't know who got all the touchdowns, but maybe we just did not. Any CJ Ham, fullback with 5 touchdowns. Makes sense, he was our goal line back, but I would expect Tony Pollard to have some touchdowns from far away. I don't know. He also got a little bit better average, 2 fumbles. Again, I thought he was worse, but in the end, he needs more touchdowns. His attempts is just up there with all the others. Not an elite season, of course, but also not a bad one despite the touchdowns. And yeah, here you can see that despite the many yards of Tony Pollard, we are actually a bottom 10 team in terms of rushing yards. Also only 9 touchdowns, that's also rather bottom of the league. And here you can see the average. 3.6, that's bottom 5 of the NFL. So our rushing game was not working. Also 14 fumbles, that seems rather high. And here we can check the explosiveness. We are midfield in terms of rushes over 20 yards and rushes over 40 yards. It's fine. So we seem to be explosive, but just not able to create the touchdowns and to get a better average. So maybe CJ Ham as a goal line back needs to be replaced. But this is something our offensive coordinator decided. So might be an option to look for a new offensive coordinator. For receiving, it's pretty interesting to see that we have a really good average. So deep passing game seems to work. And drops are somewhat an issue, but not at the top of the league. So receiving core seems to be fine. I'm now taking a deeper look into the stats to get a feeling for what we need to get better in, what's important for us to improve, and how here we can already see what I said. Turnovers have not been a factor for us. Only 8 interceptions. Sacks, we have 22, but not the one player who dominates. So maybe, just an overall average team performance, but not the one star player on defense. Again, that was to be expected since we had a limited pool of players to draft from. Forced fumbles, also midfield, I would say. Defense was really good in terms of allowed yards, but the superstar is missing, who creates the sacks, who creates the forced fumbles, the turnovers, and really can be the X factor for us. Okay, so maybe special team not that big of an issue than I thought. All extra points made, and in terms of field goals, here's the problem. 68.8%. That is not good. So kicker is an issue and also explains a lot of points. I mean, 30 points, if you calculate that are missing here due to missed field goals. And this can be honestly 2 or 3 wins, especially in close games. So special teams matter. And also great O-line performance, top 10 of the league in terms of pancakes, and only 8 sacks allowed that were due to mistakes from our O-line. So these are the stats I can use for O-line performance. Seems to be all right. And actually, if we look at performance, I sorted by AFC to be able to filter our players. Tony Pollard and Desmond Ridder are up there with higher performances. Again, I'm very surprised here. And also, I don't know if the score is just based on total stats or also more on game performances. Would be interesting to know. Also, Julio Jones, I noticed that there are only offensive players. So yeah, again, I don't know on what these stats are based. Zach Ertz also up there. Wyatt Teller with 55 pancakes. So a great offensive addition here. But yeah, I won't go into detail each season. But yeah, I won't go into that much detail regarding stats for each season. But now it would be very interesting to know who actually wins the first year with 33 teams. Let's sim the wildcard round. And in the divisional round, we have the best team of the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. And they crush the Indianapolis Colts. Undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Cowboys. What a performance by the Buccaneers. And the Dolphins lose against the Jaguars. And the Rams lose against the Vikings. So in the AFC Championship, we have our division rival Jacksonville Jaguars, who lose against the Buffalo Bills. And in the other game, I would expect a win by the Buccaneers. 62-13. Tom Brady, 5 touchdowns. I hope the offensive coordinator by the Buccaneers is available for us to sign as a head coach. I'm really intrigued to sign him. What a performance. Can the Buccaneers close an undefeated season? Is Tom Brady able to get the Super Bowl win with an undefeated season? They are favorites in the game and they win. Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. And it's an undefeated season here. What a performance by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if we look at season awards, actually Josh Allen wins MVP. We saw that he led the league in terms of yards, also up there in touchdowns. And also offensive MVP for Josh Allen. A playoff MVP is Tom Brady. Very deserved with a 5-touchdown AFC Championship game. Defensive MVP, Joey Bosa. An offensive rookie of the year, Desmond Ridder. And you see me surprised again. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe Desmond Ridder deserves another chance. Let me know in the comments if we should give another season to Desmond Ridder, or if we should at least explore the options in the free agency market and the draft. And yeah, Booth wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Do we also have some Pro Bowl appearances? Yeah, CJ Ham, fullback, not the Pro Bowler you want to see. But again, also a good pick in the expansion draft. We needed a fullback. We signed one of the better ones, and it pays off to some degree. I don't know. Julio Jones also up here in the Pro Bowl, so maybe he's not done yet. He will, of course, come back for an additional year. And again, this shows that we don't have a star player on defense, but we just have a great defensive unit overall. Maybe we are able to find a diamond in free agency or the draft, but we need a superstar on defense. We need a playmaker also offensively. But I would say that the first year looked very, very promising. There were a few games, of course, also some bad performances. But in the end, the very first year of an NFL team in Germany was one of the better records for an expansion team. I mean, that's also something we need to notice. In the end, we're still an expansion team. Of course, we signed great players, but maybe we need to find our identity, maybe with a new coaching staff. All these are questions for the off season. It will be really interesting to see where this team is going. I'm pretty sure that we're able to improve the Munich Wolverines, to improve the 33rd team of the NFL, make some great free agency additions, and head into the first draft for the Munich Wolverines. I'm very excited. Hope you are as well. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.